Sarah parks her money in a high-yield savings account, earning a steady 4.5% interest, convinced she's playing the smartest, safest game in town. David takes his cash and drops it directly into a total stock market index fund, bracing himself for the volatile waves of the public markets. They both look at each other and think they've made the superior choice. They are both completely wrong, because Sarah forgot to look at what her grocery bill is doing to her purchasing power, and David forgot that market corrections can wipe out paper gains in a single afternoon. When you actually run the numbers over a real timeline, the gap between what you think you have and what your money can actually buy will make your stomach drop. For years, the conventional wisdom was simple. The bank keeps you safe, and the market makes you rich. But we are living through a structural economic shift where the old rules have quietly mutated into financial traps. You open your banking app, you see a tidy 5-digit balance, and you feel that warm rush of security. It's responsible, disciplined, and mature. What the screen won't show you is the invisible leak. Because while you're earning a few $100s in interest, macro forces are moving the goalposts daily. A cash balance that feels like a fortress is actually acting like an ice cube on a hot summer sidewalk. Meanwhile, the standard advice to just buy and hold index funds ignores a brutal mathematical reality about sequence of returns risk in a high-cost world. The game has changed entirely. Let's keep this fair. Sarah and David both have $50,000 saved up in cash. They both earn $90,000 in annual income. They are the exact same age, living in the same city, and starting with the exact same financial goal. The only difference between them is a single tactical choice: what they decide to do with that $50,000 block of capital. Imagine Sarah decides to play it safe and leaves her $50,000 compounding inside a high-yield savings account, earning 4.5% interest. After 1 year, her balance climbs to $52,250. Now compare that with David's choice to invest. Historically, the S&P 500 index has returned about 10% per year on average over long periods. If David drops his $50,000 into a total market index fund, that same money after 12 months would grow to $55,000. At the end of year 1, the gap between Sarah's savings and David's investment portfolio looks relatively small, just $2,750. It's a margin so tight that Sarah feels completely validated in her choice, enjoying the total peace of mind that comes with a guaranteed bank balance. But this is exactly where the math tricks you, because compound interest is a game of backloaded momentum. Fast forward the clock 20 years. If Sarah keeps her money in the bank at 4.5%, her $50,000 grows to roughly $120,500. Meanwhile, David's index fund portfolio, compounding at that historical 10% market average, climbs to an impressive $336,300. Look closely at the final scoreboard. Sarah has $120,500, while David has $336,300. They started with the exact same money at the exact same time, but they ended up with a completely different structural outcome. And here's the core psychological insight that changes everything. The real wealth-defining gap in modern economics isn't between savers and spenders. It is the massive, compounding chasm between savers and investors. But wait, if the long-term mathematical scoreboard is so staggeringly lopsided, why do millions of highly intelligent, rational people choose to stand exactly where Sarah is standing? Why do they keep hundreds of billions of cumulative dollars frozen solid in low-yield traditional instruments? The answer isn't a lack of basic financial literacy. It's driven by a powerful psychological survival mechanism known as loss aversion. Behavioral scientists have repeatedly demonstrated that the raw emotional pain of losing $1 is twice as intense as the joy of gaining that exact same dollar. When Sarah looks at her high-yield savings account, her brain registers an absolute predictability score of 100%. She experiences zero friction, zero daily volatility, and zero visual anxiety. Her 5-digit cash balance never ticks downward. It gives her a profound sense of total control. Meanwhile, when she looks over at David's strategy, his path looks like an emotional roller coaster. David has to willfully subject himself to the brutal psychology of public markets, where macro headlines can wipe out months of his hard-earned growth in a single morning. For Sarah, avoiding that sickening downward dip in value feels like an immediate, tangible win. But this is exactly where the psychological trap springs shut. Because Sarah's brain is highly optimized to protect her from visible, short-term nominal losses, she becomes completely blind to the invisible, long-term real losses.
May look abundant.
You see, traditional bank accounts provide a dangerous psychological illusion of perfect safety. They protect your nominal number of dollars while quietly eroding what those exact same dollars can actually buy in the real world. Your banking app will never send you a push notification alerting you that your purchasing power just dropped by 4% this year. The loss is silent, gradual, and completely unpunished by our immediate survival instincts. As a result, we willingly trade our long-term generational wealth just to buy a temporary sense of daily emotional comfort. Breaking out of this psychological trap requires a systematic, step-by-step framework that balances your emotional need for certainty with the mathematical reality of inflation. Step 1 is establishing a hard-capped emergency fund inside your high-yield savings account. The goal here isn't to build wealth. It is to buy psychological insulation. You calculate exactly 3 to 6 months of absolute baseline living expenses, park it, and declare it mathematically finished. By naming its purpose, you prevent your brain from treating your entire net worth like an emergency reserve. Step 2 is implementing an automated fixed contribution investing strategy into broad market index funds with whatever surplus income remains. You do not try to time the market or wait for a perfect economic consensus. You set up a recurring draft that occurs 48 hours after your paycheck hits. This is crucial because it completely removes the daily emotional friction of deciding whether to buy.
Step 3
is shifting your primary financial metric from your nominal balance to your real purchasing power. You train yourself to look at your investment contributions not as money spent or risked, but as units of productive global output purchased. When you follow this structured sequence, you achieve the ultimate psychological unlock. Your emergency cash handles your short-term survival instincts, freeing your investment portfolio to capture long-term compounding. You stop playing a defensive game of avoiding short-term drops and start playing an offensive game of building long-term freedom. If I only showed you the long-term compounding numbers of the stock market, I'd be doing exactly what every biased financial influencer does online. I would be lying by omission, because the truth that nobody likes to discuss is that David's path comes with a brutal, unavoidable tax on your emotional sanity. When you leave your money in a high-yield savings account like Sarah, your balance is a psychological straight line. It is perfectly flat, completely predictable, and structurally bulletproof against short-term economic chaos. If the housing market cracks, if inflation spikes unexpectedly, or if a global conflict disrupts international trade routes, Sarah can log into her banking portal at midnight, and her $50,000 will still be exactly $50,000. That is a massive, tangible benefit that math-only purists completely dismiss. David does not get that luxury. To earn that historically certified 10% average market return, David has to be willing to watch his hard-earned capital evaporate in real time during a market correction. He has to sit on his hands while his portfolio drops 15%, 20%, or even 30% in a single quarter. He has to withstand the sickening feeling of looking at his screen and seeing that thousands of real dollars have vanished into thin air, knowing that the market could take years just to break even again. If you do not have the stomach, the psychological discipline, or the extended time horizon to watch your net worth plunge without hitting the panic sell button, the stock market isn't an investment strategy for you. It is a wealth destruction trap. If a sudden 20% drop is going to keep you awake at night, or force you to liquidate your positions at the absolute bottom of the cycle, then the safety of a traditional bank account isn't an illusion at all. It is a completely rational cost of admission for your mental health. So how do you actually decide which path to walk? It comes down to a simple situation filter: the timeline of your capital. If you are going to need this money within the next 24 to 36 months, whether it's for a down payment on a house, an upcoming wedding, or a secure emergency buffer, leave it in the bank. The short-term volatility of the market makes it a terrible place to store money you depend on today. But if your time horizon is 5, 10, or 20 years down the road, leaving that cash in a bank account isn't safety at all. It is a guaranteed financial loss against the hidden tax of inflation. We need to reframe how we view risk entirely. True risk isn't watching your investment portfolio fluctuate on a screen during a bad economic quarter. True risk is arriving at retirement age and realizing your perfectly safe, flat cash balance can only buy half of what it could when you first earned it. The ultimate goal of managing your money isn't just to see a static number remain unchanged. It is to protect and expand your actual freedom in the future. Which game are you currently playing with your savings? Are you playing a defensive game to protect your immediate comfort, or are you playing an offensive game to build your long-term independence? If you want to stop letting your hard-earned savings quietly lose its purchasing power, hit the subscribe button right now. I drop one deep dive mathematical breakdown just like this every single week to help you navigate modern economics. But before you click away to another video, I want to leave you with one final question to think about today. If you keep your money exactly where it is right now for the next 5 years, are you actually protecting your wealth, or are you just protecting your comfort? Let me know your honest thoughts in the comments below. I read and reply to every single one. See you in the next video.